Here's Carolyn Jarvis.
In the world of medical breakthroughs, many are betting their health and their money that stem cell treatment will be the next great leap forward. It is so anticipated, so hyped. Clinics around the world are already selling the so-called therapy before it's been approved in Canada or the U.S. The premise is that stem cells are the key to regenerative medicine, able to help the body heal itself. Online testimonials tout them as the cure to diseases like Parkinson's, cancer, and Alzheimer's. But as of yet, there's no clinical proof that it works. Tonight, the story of those who will do anything for a cure, the science that's still being developed, and the doctors who are in the business of selling hope.
I have a really sore back, and I was wondering if I could speak to Dr. Gonzalez.
Our producer went inside this medical clinic in Mexico with a hidden camera to ask about the stem cell treatments it offers. Treatments some say can help, but others warn can kill.
Yeah, we're talking about stem cells in treatments. Actually, we are working with Envita.
Oh yeah, you do stem cells?
Yes, yes sir, and that's pretty good.
The science is controversial, the procedure neither legal in Canada nor the U.S. But here, just 1 hour south of the American border, you can have it done for about $30,000 U.S.
And I am the one that infuses the stem cells.
Do you think my doctor in the States, I don't know why he hasn't mentioned any of this to me?
It's not approved by the FDA. It's still in a research investigative stage. We're still learning.
These clinics are, for the most part, snake oil salesmen, and they are, if it sounds too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true.
The scientific director of Canada's stem cell network, Michael Rudnicki, has been watching the number of these clinics multiply in recent years.
Well, this is about making money. They are lining their own pockets on the grief of other people.
He says hundreds of clinics are cashing in on that grief, pushing the hype about the potential of stem cells and selling treatments before clinical testing is even done. So it's a medical scam?
Yeah, absolutely. But it takes many years for these treatments to find their way into the clinic because we have to make sure that they work, we have to make sure that they're safe, and certainly we have to make sure that no harm is done.
The sales pitch is that stem cells are the building blocks of life, capable of becoming any cell in the body, like skin, bones, muscle, or nerves. That part is true. But some clinics are telling patients that injecting stem cells can stimulate the body to heal itself of conditions like ALS, Parkinson's, and brain injury. And many researchers say that has yet to be proven. What is the risk if you do go?
You may die.
George Arruda says he was never warned of that or any other risk when he went to China to receive stem cells. There were no risks they told you about?
No risks.
So you thought this could be it?
Yeah.
George lives in Ancaster, Ontario, and has a neurological condition called ataxia, which affects his coordination and speech. After the birth of his daughter, all he wanted was to be able to walk so he could be an active father, and he was willing to pay just about anything. How much did it cost you?
Roughly around $50,000 US.
His treatment was delivered through a company called Bikey Biotech. Bikey claims to have performed more than 8,000 stem cell treatments since 2005 and boasts 2/3 of its patients see improvements. It showcases glowing testimonials on YouTube, including George's.
My walking is definitely getting better. I definitely feel more confident on my 2 feet.
Were you in a wheelchair when you went to the Bikey clinic?
Yes, I was.
Were you able to?
I walked out.
And you walked out?
Yes.
So you figured it was working?
Yes.
But George's miracle cure didn't last. Only a month after returning home, the disease once again had the upper hand. Experts chalk up George's temporary improvements to a placebo effect.
It's a well-documented effect. So if you give someone a pill and say that this will treat your ailment, they will feel better, and even their symptoms will improve, and then it goes away.
Today, 4 years after receiving 60 million stem cells, George is wheelchair-bound with his speech more strained than ever.
I think the technology is in its infancy at this stage in the game, and I think that they should selling it now.
Scientists say he's lucky, in fact. The treatments didn't turn out far worse.
In British Columbia, there was a person who came back from Russia or Kiev and developed tumors in their spinal cord after having some unknown preparation of cells injected into their back.
So in some cases, people aren't getting better at all.
No, they got cancer.
Still, George says he's willing to try again when the science is ready in Canada, when clinical testing is complete and it's proven safe. And when that happens, Michael Rudnicki says he'll be at the front of the line to endorse it.
This is transformative. This will change the way medicine is practiced. So we are going to see in the coming decades new treatments coming into the clinic. Without question, this is going to happen, but it can't happen overnight.
Next on 16 by 9, going against doctors' orders.
I almost couldn't live with myself if I knew there was something out there to help my son and I didn't try.
A family's last hope to save their little boy.
Jen Molson has multiple sclerosis, but you'd never know it.
If someone said to you that you were sick right now, what would you say?
I'm not.
You're not sick?
I don't consider myself sick, no.
It wasn't so long ago she was undeniably very sick.
I was 21. I woke up one morning in May and I had pins and needles in my left hand, and I thought, oh, it'll just go away. I slept on my arm funny and it wasn't going away. And by the afternoon, I remember going into the fridge to grab a jug of water, and I thought I was holding it and I wasn't, and I dropped it on the floor. And I knew something really wasn't right.
Over the next few years, the disease advanced so quickly Jen couldn't work, couldn't do much of anything.
At that point, I needed help with, showering, drying me off. And by November 2000, when I was admitted full-time at the rehabilitation center at the Ottawa Hospital with 24-hour care.
This was fast.
It was very, very fast.
The sudden change meant her dreams of becoming a police officer and of one day dancing at her wedding were dashed.
As my disease progressed, I knew I wouldn't be able to do any of that.
She tried every treatment available, but nothing worked. So when a spot opened up in a clinical trial, she went for it. It was an experiment using stem cells. Doctors hoped the stem cells would slow down the progression of the disease, but nobody expected what came next.
Maybe 8 months to a year after, it was the little things that I was noticing, that I was going down the stairs and I wasn't holding onto the railing. And I walked down the hall to get the mail and I left my cane in the house and be like, look, I'm walking, I don't have a cane.
So you started to walk a little bit, and then what?
Then Aaron and I decided to get married. 11 months after, I walked down the aisle. I danced at my wedding. I went the whole day without using any canes.
Today, Jen not only walks, she's back on skis, does yoga. There's not much she can't do.
Does it ever hit you? Do you ever have these moments like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing this?
All the time.
It's that sort of miracle the Johnstone family of Gibsons, BC is praying for. Their 5-year-old son, Rylan, is trapped inside his own world.
Rylan faces autism, hypopituitarism, septo-optic hypoplasia. He's diabetic insipidus.
Meaning, not only is he blind, he's autistic, has to take growth hormones, and has seizures when his blood sugar falls too low.
What sort of treatment options do you have for Rylan?
Here, none.
You have no options?
No options here. basically, here's the diagnosis on your son, take him home.
Ryland's parents, Alicia and Ryan, know they can't erase all that ails him. But at the very least, they'd like their son to be able to see them one day. Their best chance, they believe, lies with stem cell treatment.
It almost sounds selfish, but one of my biggest things is I want him to be able to reach out and see and say daddy and be able to see who daddy is.
The Johnstones don't have the $45,000 to cover the cost of the treatment, so they're relying on fundraisers like this bake sale. They're hoping come springtime, they'll be able to take Ryland to a hospital in China run by Baiki Biotech.
Do they believe that he is a good candidate for this procedure?
Yes.
Yeah.
They think he's a great candidate for this.
Have they told you that they believe they might be able to have some success with this case?
They told us they have now is a 90.1 success rate.
They have a 90.1 success rate.
Yeah.
What do you think when you think about why you want this treatment?
Because I don't want to be on my, deathbed and thinking, well, what if? What if I did this? What if, I want to just put in my all and we've got really nothing to lose.
I almost couldn't live with myself if I knew there was something out there to help my son and I didn't try.
There's got to be a part of you that thinks, as a cautious parent, why isn't this approved in Canada?
We've got scary letters from the doctors saying that, Ryland could die from this, but we've had so much confirmation, it's not actually just Chinese doctors. There's doctors from Vancouver, there's doctors from Europe, all these places that go over to practice this because they don't do it here.
Yeah, there is a chance that we could, but there's a chance him at home in BC, he has a seizure, stops breathing, and dies.
My son was clinically dead for 10 minutes, 22 hours after he was born. So, I'm accepted the fact that, there could potentially be some small issues, but...
What if they're big issues?
Then it's something I'm ready to deal with.
Because of the proliferation of clinics abroad, getting access to stem cell treatment is easier than ever.
It is for sale on your website.
It is
I could
available.
come to you tomorrow and say, send me for stem cell treatments in Mauritius, and you would say...
I would say I would send your information and put you in touch with the hospital, and you would be at liberty to completely do your due diligence. And if you are convinced...
So it's up to me?
It's up to you.
Yasmin Saeed is the owner of Surgical Tourism Canada, based in Vancouver. It's a kind of medical travel agency that sends Canadians to foreign countries for everything from hip replacements to liposuction. 6 months ago, Saeed began offering stem cell treatments too.
Have you sent anybody yet for stem cell treatments?
No, not yet.
How often are people calling you about stem cell treatments?
I would say 5 to 10 times a month. I think we are promoting, a procedure that is being accepted worldwide right now.
Not so, according to Michael Rudnicki of Canada's Stem Cell Network. He says companies like Saeed's are doing nothing more than taking advantage of desperate people.
It's despicable what they do. They're playing on the hopes of these patients.
Despicable. Those are harsh words.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Well, the bottom line is Canadian physicians always, do not approve of anything. The research is not proven in Canada and is not approved in Canada. Our responsibility is checking that the hospital has done the research, that they claim...
But I'm asking you, has the hospital done the research? Where is the clinical proof that's completed that shows that this is safe?
On the website, they have all their research papers published.
We did have the chief scientific director of the Canadian Stem Cell Network go to that website and look at the data that you say is there to prove that it is safe. And he says, and I quote, "These publications are in no way supportive of the procedures offering benefit in any way."
Okay, that's an opinion. It's each person's opinion.
Saeed's opinion is that some new stem cell treatments have been proven, but that view isn't based on evidence from clinical trials.
Proof from patients that have actually had the procedure done, discussing with the patients and people saying that they have seen improvements.
Those hopeful stories are exactly what many families are yearning to hear. But this man says chasing that hope left him in a dark and terrifying place.
I was like, this is bad, this is getting really bad, and I was getting scared. I was calling home. I was telling my friends that something was happening to my body after I got this procedure done.
Next on 16 by 9, he offers patients hope in the form of stem cells.
Hi.
Hi.
Dr. Gonzalez. My name is Carolyn Jarvis.
Oh.
So why won't this doctor talk to us?
This is Puerto Peñasco, a picturesque Mexican town on the Sea of Cortez, about an hour south of the U.S. border. It attracts American and Canadian tourists looking to unwind and enjoy the comforts of five-star resorts. For Jerry Nischuk, it was supposed to be more than a holiday. This is where he came last summer to get relief from his chronic back pain.
It's a burning, shooting pain, and it's like that. It's like your nerves are telling your brain that everything is going wrong.
He went to the Sandy Beach Medical Center for treatment, and over the course of 5 days was injected with 50 million stem cells. Far from the fix he was looking for, when Jerry left, the pain was much worse.
I was like, this is bad, this is getting really bad, and I was getting scared. I was calling home. I was telling my friends that something was happening to my body after I got this procedure done. I started feeling tingling in my feet and in my hands, and
This is when your tremor started.
And a tremor that started in my hands that is, and a burning that I never had before.
Your hands won't stop shaking now.
No. And they're ice cold most of the time.
Jerry's life today is a far cry from what it once was. By his mid-30s, he was secure enough financially to retire. He owned multiple homes and divided his time between the outdoor playgrounds of Hawaii and Vancouver.
You were living the dream.
I really was. I really was living the dream. I had the perfect life. As a 36-year-old man, there wasn't too much more I could get out of life.
But in 2008, an old spinal injury flared up, making Jerry's pain unbearable.
Doctors kept telling me, well, this could be a transient effect of the flu. This could be something that comes and goes. We don't know why. We don't have answers. Your MRIs look completely fine.
And so nobody could tell you what was causing all this pain?
No.
Jerry's search for answers led him to the Invita Medical Center in Phoenix. The staff said he was a good candidate for treatment using stem cells.
It was communicated to me that this was a very routine procedure.
Routine?
Yeah.
Like they do it all the time?
Yeah.
Jerry says he was given this sales pitch, a video lecture by Invita's founder, Dr. Dino Prato.
Obviously, the fresher the injury, the better as it gets older.
But as 16 by 9 discovered, Prato isn't a medical doctor at all. He's a naturopath.
So why did you do it?
It seemed very compelling, and even one patient that he mentioned sounded exactly like me. It was a spinal injury patient who had nerve pain running down his legs that was a 10 out of 10, and after receiving stem cell treatment, his pain was down to a 2 or a 3.
In fact, neither Health Canada nor the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has approved stem cell treatments for most ailments, including chronic back pain, because there's not enough proof that they work.
Did they offer you any evidence that stem cell treatment for your condition would be effective?
Nothing more than anecdotal patient testimonials.
No proof, no clinical evidence?
No. This was walking on trust. I mean, a Mexican nurse walked down from upstairs with a little vial of God knows what was in that vial and said, "Here."
Maybe it wasn't even stem cells?
No, it could have been Gatorade for all I know.
Jerry paid $28,500 for the treatment. He wasn't given any guarantees, nor was he warned of any risks. Because it's illegal in the U.S., he was put on a shuttle to Puerto Peñasco for his treatment at the Sandy Beach Medical Clinic.
It was very simple and small, but very clean and professional. The doctor was very friendly. He had practiced in New Mexico for over 15 years.
What was his name?
His name is Dr. Jesus Gonzalez.
How are you? Okay, sir. Fine, sir.
This is Dr. Gonzalez on Hidden Camera. Our 16 by 9 producer went into the Sandy Beach Medical Clinic posing as a patient, and within minutes, the staff raised the idea of stem cell treatment.
I'm pretty sure the doctor will help you. He's a medical internist and he has a lot of experience be working with American people in the States.
Oh, wow. So you do stem cells? That would be... Do you ever do them for back injuries?
Oh, yes.
Dr. Gonzalez was far more cautious, admitting there are some risks involved.
Well, you know, everything, even an aspirin has possible side effects.
He even went so far as to say the treatments he's performing are experimental.
It's not approved by the FDA. Oh. In the United States. Okay. It's still in a research investigative state. We're still learning. Oh. It's still changing. There's no definite protocols for everything.
What Dr. Gonzalez doesn't tell his patients is that he used to practice in the United States. But in 2003, the New Mexico State Medical Board alleged he was incompetent to safely practice medicine and suspended his license.
We're not here to take anybody's money to just, offer something that's not going to help you.
So we showed up at the clinic in Mexico, hoping to speak with Dr. Gonzalez.
Hi, Dr. Gonzalez. My name is Carolyn Jarvis. I'm with a Canadian news program. We'd like to talk to you about the stem cell treatments that you're offering and whether or not these have any proven effectiveness. We'd just like to talk to you about these procedures that you're offering. Is there any clinical proof that what you're doing is safe, doctor?
There were no answers in Mexico, so we turned our attention to Invita's main clinic in Arizona and its founder, Dino Prato.
This is what we're trying to penetrate. This is what stem cells do when they're put into this region.
Despite several phone calls and letters, Prato was unwilling to explain why his company takes money for a medical procedure that's not approved in the U.S.
I never thought in a million years that this was the trek that I would be on.
Today, Jerry is forced to live with his parents for care, takes a daily cocktail of pain medication, and walks with the painful gait of a 90-year-old man.
Suicide is something that crosses my mind every moment of the day. The pain gets so bad, and the mobility and not being able to do the things that I normally do, what's devastating. And when I talk to my friends who, it's almost worse because they want to know how I'm doing and they're, sorry.
Do you feel like you were lied to?
You know what? I think I really do feel that I was lied to. There's vultures out there just circling around the internet with fancy marketing and claims by legitimate doctors who have degrees and so forth, but their only interest is money, and unfortunately I was one of the victims.